Solopreneurs, you thinking about becoming a subcontractor? It is a great option, but there's things to keep in mind. I'm going to give you 6 considerations if you're thinking about becoming a subcontractor.
As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights.
All right, so if you're a solopreneur, maybe even your bigger company, you got a big gig going, and you're saying, yeah, you know what, we'd like to diversify, or I'd like to get started by becoming a subcontractor for somebody else. Cool, great options. It's a really wonderful option a lot of times because they may have relationships that already exist, and you may be able to start doing overflow work. Or maybe you can do work that other people don't necessarily want to do, or maybe it's too big, or it's too small, or it's a unique thing, but it allows them to continue to offer that product or service, and they end up being the ones who have the primary relationship, but you do you're delivering the service. But 6 things to keep in mind. 1, and a lot of times there's going to be a subcontractor agreement that you should ask for in advance to try and get an idea, and do this before you do your billing, because you may have restrictions within there, or there may be requirements to say, well, I better be aware of this and this so that I can ensure that I factor it into my billing. First thing that comes to mind is the idea of insurance. Now, depending on what it is, I've seen this a lot like in the construction industry. Depending on how big it is, sometimes they even require insurance, they may require bonds, they may require all sorts of different things. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It does mean, though, that you need to factor in how much is it going to cost so that you can make sure that when you get involved with it, that you are factoring that into the pricing that you're providing them. Now, the second thing to think about is what is the billing and the timing. So with the insurance, and I'm going to back up half a step. In our courses in aspiringsolopreneur.com and on the courses and in the books, we talk about all of these things on how you find a great insurance agent, small business insurance agent, small business person, small business attorney that can help you on all these questions. And if you stick with me to the end, I got a special kicker for you. But all right, so the second thing then is going to be billing and timing. In some cases, subcontractors are happy to pay you, but they're only going to pay you when they get paid. And sometimes they may even contingent that they do get paid, and that doesn't help you. So if you're used to getting paid every 2 weeks, but you're doing a job, you may actually you may end up having to sit on something at maybe 60, 90, 100 days or more before you get paid. Again, that's fine if you know about it in advance, but you may actually have to factor in pricing around that so you can make sure that you can afford your own float. Now, in some cases, there may be things that is called retainage, and retainage can be anywhere from 5 to 10%, typically 5%, where a company, the person that is getting the work done may say, yeah, contractually, I'm going to do all these things and I'll pay you, but I'm holding back 5 to 10% until everything is done. And if you're the first person in on a job, or you're the first person coming in, I've known companies that have had to wait over a year to get the retainage. Now, it can be negotiated, but you need to know in advance what you're walking into. So understanding what is the billing and when are you going to get comped and how does that shape out in the right ways. Third thing is make sure you understand what is the term of your contract. If you're going in and you're going to be a subcontractor for somebody and it's at will, well, that may be okay, meaning they can fire you at any time. That's fine, but if they say, yeah, we want you to go invest in $1 million worth of equipment, I may be like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I need to make sure that I'm going to be covered for at least this period of time. And then once I know I'm covered for this period of time, then but understand what the term of the contract is. So that's going to be the third thing. First thing is insurance. Second is billing and when you can expect timing on that. Are there any retainage? Third thing is your term of contract. The fourth thing is an NDA. NDA is called a non-disclosure agreement. Usually it's not a big deal. Candidly, in a lot of states, they aren't really that valuable. But an NDA may have certain restrictions within it on who you can talk to about what you're doing, what content. Just make sure you review it, and if you need to, get a small business attorney to help review the NDA for you. The last two things are going to be, one is going to be, does this agreement as a subcontractor, does it have a non-compete? So if you do work for somebody, even if you never actually meet them and you do the work, will you ever, does it say, well, we can't ever work with you, or we're not going to allow you to ever work with this person, or you can't work with this person for 3 or 4 years? It doesn't mean that it's intended that you don't end run around the primary contractor and go directly to whoever you're working for. And that's understandable. But if it says, no, you're not allowed to ever talk to this person, or 3 years or whatever it is, you just need to be very clear and walk in with your eyes wide open on what that agreement looks like. And then the last piece is this an exclusive, or is this a non-exclusive? Meaning, is it restrictive? So if you're doing a certain type of maybe professional services, and they say, yes, you're professional services and you're subcontracting for us, and you can only do it for us, that may be okay with you. It may not. You may say, well, but you guys have me, you can fire me at any time, and according to this, I've got a non-compete that I can't go after anybody else, which means I couldn't go talk to anybody else in the industry. So again, I'm not saying that any of these are good, and I'm not definitively not giving legal advice. Make sure you talk with your attorney, but understanding that you probably want to go through and review, hey, what is the insurance requirements of the subcontractor agreement? What are the billing, timing? Is there any retainage? What's the term? Is this open-ended? Is it short-term, long-term? Is there a commitment? What associated with that? Is there a non-disclosure agreement? Is there a non-compete? And lastly, is this an exclusive, or do you have the opportunity to go and talk with other people? So thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. Hey, you know what? We are really pushing our courses, the Aspiring Solopreneur. And because you stuck with this all the way to the end, we'll put my email up at the bottom. And if you're reach out and you're one of the first 5 from this video, I will give you free access to the course. No strings attached. The only thing I would request is, if you found value in it, please give us a solid testimonial and refer us on to somebody else. So hopefully you found value with this. Keep smiling.